Well, at that time, I was part of the Repertory Theater in St. Louis, and I saw in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch the announcement that there was going to be a lecture on Greek tragedy at one of those smaller girls' colleges in the St. Louis area. So I made sure that I dropped in and sat down and listened. And out comes this guy dressed very dapper, very, very young and handsome. And I would say maybe 40 women in there, and I was the only male. And I said, there's got to be more than us who are interested in Greek tragedy. And it turns out that he's just finished his own translation of the Bacchae by Euripides. And he starts reading from it, and he becomes Apollo. He becomes a Dionysus. And all these women sitting there listening to this classical lecture become his Maenads, and they're racing through the woods with him, and they're, drinking wine. And this is, I thought it was a performance. The guy was fabulously, wonderfully talented. So I waited for the girls to leave the room, and when they were through fawning all over him, I told him that I was a producer of Greek plays, and I could guarantee a production of his play if he wanted it in Ogden, Utah. He said, I haven't turned the script into the publishers yet, so why don't we just keep this between you and me? And I said, great. And I mentioned a figure for his end of the bargain, and he said, that's great. I have more copies back at my home in England. So we wound up doing a world premiere of a Paul Rush translation of a Euripides play, which people love, but they don't understand because it's a peculiar play. The hero's mother gets torn apart by these ladies who are tearing through the woods, devouring. It's unbridled licentiousness. And we have a Mormon audience. So we did it because part of it was not only strange and